Oh, hi. You guys are here. I was just listening to some music and checking out the baseball scores and doing a little email work. But I'm Russell Smelley, and I'm the husband of Allison and the father of Travis and Alyssa. I work at Westmont College as a kinesiology professor and as coach of cross country and track and field for the past 41 years. And I've been attending Santa Barbara Free Methodist Church since 1980, and the pastors in the church congregation have been essential to my personal development and spiritual growth. Today, I want to share with you about the subject of listening. I teach a course titled Health Education for Teachers. My primary aim for the students is for them to learn how to become more emotionally healthy individuals. This requires a lot of reading assignments, many reflections, and a growing sense of healthy introspection. Learning to listen is one of the primary life skills I emphasize because I think it is crucial in order for a teacher to be effective in the long term. A teacher may ask to seemingly distract a student, "Are you listening to me?" And I think the teacher has to also ask themselves, "Am I listening well to my students?" Listening well helps us learn what is actually happening. James 1:19 states, "Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." Interestingly, in the stage play Hamilton, the protagonist is advised early on to speak less and listen more. A very hard admonition to practice for a man of words and something to prove to the world. In support of this helpful admonition to Mr. Hamilton, Proverbs 18:12 and 13 state, "Before his downfall, a man's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. He who answers before listening, that is folly and shame." So listening requires personal introspection. Do we know what we feel? Do we know what makes us angry? Are we aware we are defensive? Do we speak strongly because we do not feel heard? Answering such questions introspectively opens our hearts to the fact that pride can be covering up hurt, pain, and a sense of duty, which blocks our ears from hearing the words of others. To become a good listener to others, we need to be willing to listen to our inner selves. We need to decide to do the growth-oriented, emotional life work which God is calling us to through the love of Christ. Now, listening without judgment is a developed skill, which creates a safe place to share. When we are more reconciled with our inner story, it opens us to be able to listen without having to judge another's story, because we're less judgmental of ourselves. Our defensive nature is recognized and subdued for the benefit of allowing someone else to share their story. We learn not to ask, "Why did you do that?" and offer a more open and reflective question of, "Well, what caused you to feel that way or make that choice?" We welcome the person in front of us to feel safe in sharing their hearts openly. This is a gift which changes lives and allows God's grace to flow between two people. Why questions are challenged to authority, tacitly demanding that a person defend themselves or their actions. What questions invite a person to describe the complexities of what has happened to them. Why questions can be threatening, but what questions are an invitation to be heard. Now, listening well allows for affirmation of a person's story and provides them a growing sense of autonomy and a resilience. When we listen in an affirming manner, we do not as easily try to solve people's problems for them or give trite sayings which provide little comfort. We seek to know another's heart by listening to them, and through God's grace provide some assurance of support as they seek to heal and to grow as an individual. When Mary sat at Jesus' feet, listening to what he was sharing, Martha became vexed because she was distracted by her to-do list. Now, Jesus affirmed that Martha had a lot to do, but he confirmed that Mary had chosen the better thing. Now, this is a hard story for those of us who feel responsible-natured, and often firstborns hear this and we say, "You can't do it that way." But we need to consider its implication for our lives. Listening in today's world seems to be a lost part of communication. I was watching a TV news panel with a moderator and two guests with differing viewpoints. I wanted to hear what each person had to say, but sadly, and then laughably, as the interview progressed, all three people were on camera talking at the same time, faster, louder, longer. No one was listening. No one was going to feel heard. I was not going to continue to watch. In such unfortunate political discourse, I think Proverbs 18:2 says it well. A fool finds no pleasure in understanding, but delights in airing his own opinion. In 1 Samuel 3, verses 8 through 11, Eli advises Samuel on how to respond to the Lord's voice, which the young man had been hearing at night. Eli counseled, "When you hear the voice, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" In this case, he did not ask God, "What do you want? Or why do you keep bothering me? Or why didn't you answer my last prayer?" It's easy to find ourselves asking God if he's listening when we more fervently need to be asking how to listen better to God. In my Health Education for Teachers class, I teach skills for effective and helpful listening. These skills were evidenced to me by a colleague and dear friend over our 40 years of working together. They were willing to listen when I was frustrated or working through a tough situation. They listened without judgment by affirming my feelings and asking me leading questions, which helped me to begin to know what I thought I needed to do. It was a transformational friendship for me. It helped me learn to listen. As I became a better listener, I wanted to be a better husband, a better father, a better teacher and coach. And I've personally experienced the benefits and the wonder of learning to listen to others rather than wanting my opinion to be heard. So here are 3 ways of effective and helpful listening to others. Listening well requires empathy, a willingness to walk a mile in another's shoes in order to feel what they feel. We create a safe space for others to be heard. Now, the first topic is passive listening, which is anything but. It's being focused and attentive to the person speaking by allowing them to speak freely without concern of having the listener intrude on the person speaking. We just are present, sitting shiva with them and listening. Active listening, on the other hand, is done with the eyes and the ears and the heart. The listener is engaged with the person speaking in a manner which draws into a deeper understanding of what they feel without the listener trying to solve anything. It's more about body language than the words, and some might call this empathic listening, the sense that I am right there with you. Now, reflective listening, that's an energy-intensive form of listening. With reflective questions and paraphrasing and comparison, the listener helps draw out unexpressed feelings of the speaker. The speaker is encouraged through this method to seek out solutions for themselves. It's very empowering. It's what my friend did for me for so many years. So in considering how to be a good listener, I want to offer a topic which needs intentional, hearty listeners. In our time of heightened racial tension, it's very easy to choose sides, to castigate by words and behavior, and feel the need to defend our stances. Let me suggest that listening, coupled with good what questions, can do more good than choosing a defensive posture. Listening is about learning what we may not know or fully understand. To listen to those who feel aggrieved or left out or feel unseen, we offer them the dignity of sharing their own story. We cannot hope to understand if we're not willing to listen with an open heart. When we disagree is when we need to listen with the greatest forbearance and energy. And this is hard work. When we choose to listen to an individual's story, we can get to know them. We choose to suspend judgment and listen to their story as they want to tell it. For some, we take a passive listening stance so they can speak in an unfettered manner. To others, we can listen actively with eyes, ears, and heart as we seek to provide a sense of belonging and to engender trust. We seek to provide a sense of belonging that makes them know we care. We're not going to elevate our race relations by deciding who is right and who is wrong or trying to have a winning narrative. We have to be willing to listen reflectively, to seek first to understand, before we can hope that our own story will be heard. Listening helps us to better understand how we can help rather than by offering solutions. We can offer a safe place for others to express themselves freely and to share their needs with some hope. I think this is one of the gifts Jesus offered others and which caused people to be drawn to him. He made people feel safe because he spoke directly and listened well. People chose to tell him what was on their minds, even as strangers. That is a gift we can give to others as well. So let's follow the example of the great prophet Samuel by saying, "Speak, Lord, for I am listening."
This has been Wednesday Word with the Free Methodist Church of Santa Barbara. We hope that you will join us for worship this Sunday. Our home church video will be posted at 8 o'clock a.m. on our YouTube channel.